If you're successful at your job, but suddenly can't stand going to work, if you've climbed the ladder only to realize you're in the wrong building, if you're making good money but feel like you're dying inside, you're not having a midlife crisis. You're experiencing what I call a high-frequency career crisis. And here's what nobody tells you. This isn't about finding your passion or following your dreams. It's about your consciousness expanding beyond the frequency of your current work and your soul refusing to continue the performance. Today, I'm revealing why awakening souls suddenly reject careers they've spent years building, the 3 types of work that become unbearable during spiritual expansion, and what your soul is actually calling you toward when everything you've built feels meaningless. But first, you need to understand that your career crisis isn't a problem to solve. It's a frequency mismatch to honor. Let me explain what's actually happening when you suddenly hate a job you used to tolerate or even enjoy. Your consciousness operates at a certain frequency. That frequency determines what feels aligned and what feels discordant. When you took your current job, when you built your career, you were operating at a different frequency than you are now. At that frequency, the work made sense. The goals felt meaningful. The structure felt appropriate. The compensation felt adequate. You could show up, perform your role, and feel reasonably satisfied. But during spiritual awakening, your frequency shifts. You're not the same consciousness that chose this career path. You're not the same person who climbed this ladder. You're not the same soul who defined success this way. And now there's a gap between your current frequency and the frequency of your work. That gap creates dissonance. Like a radio tuned between stations, you're hearing static instead of clear signal. This dissonance manifests as physical nausea on Sunday nights, thinking about Monday morning, inability to care about projects that used to engage you, feeling like you're acting in a play where everyone else believes the script is real, exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix because it's soul level, not physical, existential dread during team meetings and performance reviews, watching the clock because every minute feels like imprisonment. People around you think you're depressed or burned out. But depression makes everything feel meaningless. Burnout makes you tired. This is different. You're not losing interest in everything. You're losing tolerance for misalignment. You can still feel passionate about things, just not this thing. You're not tired from too much work. You're exhausted from continuing work that your soul has outgrown. The career crisis isn't about the job being bad. It's about you having changed. The job stayed the same. You evolved. And now the fit is gone. Here's what makes this so disorienting. You can't explain this to people who haven't experienced frequency shift. Your logical mind is trying to rationalize staying because of practical concerns, money, benefits, stability, what people will think. But your soul is screaming that continuing is slow death. That internal conflict is the crisis, and it intensifies until you address the frequency mismatch. Not all work becomes intolerable during awakening. The specific type of work you can no longer stomach reveals what your consciousness is rejecting. Let me show you the 3 types and what each one means. Type 1. Work that requires inauthenticity. This is work where you have to perform a version of yourself that doesn't match who you've become. Corporate jobs often fall into this category, but it's not about the setting. It's about the performance requirement. You have to speak in corporate language that feels hollow, pretend to care about metrics that feel meaningless, navigate politics and maintain relationships based on utility not connection. Suppress your actual thoughts to maintain professional appropriateness. Perform enthusiasm for initiatives you don't believe in. Before awakening, you could code switch. Professional you at work, real you at home. But as your frequency rises, that split becomes agonizing. You can't maintain the mask anymore because maintaining it requires betraying your authentic self every single day. The inauthenticity creates energetic debt. Every hour spent performing costs you soul energy. By the end of the day, you're depleted not from the work itself, but from the performance of pretending the work matters in the way you're supposed to pretend it matters. Type 2. Work that serves systems. You no longer believe in this is work that upholds structures, systems or values that your expanded consciousness now sees through or rejects. Maybe you work in finance and you now see money as a collective agreement, not ultimate reality marketing, and you see manipulation even when it's called persuasion healthcare, and you see the system treating symptoms while ignoring root causes, education, and you see standardization crushing individual potential law, and you see rules maintaining power structures rather than serving justice. You're not judging others who do this work. You're recognizing that you can't participate in maintaining what you now see as limiting or harmful systems. Before awakening, you could justify it. I'm just doing my job. Someone has to. I'm making a living. But now those justifications don't work because you can't unknow what you know. You see the system clearly, and continuing to serve it feels like complicity. Type 3. Work that feels soul small. This is work that's not necessarily inauthentic or systemically problematic, but it's just too narrow for what your consciousness has become. You're doing work that serves one small function when your awareness has expanded to see interconnection and complexity. You're optimizing a tiny cog when you can now perceive the entire machine and question why we're running this machine at all. The work might be fine for someone else, but for you, it's like asking an adult to return to kindergarten. It's not wrong. It's just not sized for your consciousness anymore. You need work that engages your full capacity, your intellect, your creativity, your philosophical depth, your spiritual awareness, your desire for meaning. And your current work only uses a fraction of who you've become. Which type describes your current work situation? Comment. Performance. If you're exhausted by inauthenticity, system. If you can't serve what you now see through, or small if your work no longer matches your consciousness size. Naming what's happening helps you move through it with more clarity. Now, here's what your soul is actually trying to tell you through this career crisis. Your career crisis isn't just about what you're leaving. It's about what you're being called toward. But here's what most people get wrong. They think their soul is calling them to a specific new career. Your soul isn't necessarily saying, quit and become a yoga teacher, or leave corporate and start a coaching business. That's your ego trying to solve the discomfort by finding a replacement activity. Your soul is calling you to a different relationship with work, regardless of what the work is. What your soul actually wants. Alignment over compensation. Your soul wants you to value energetic alignment more than financial maximization. This doesn't mean working for free or struggling financially. It means making career decisions based primarily on, does this match my frequency, rather than, does this maximize my income? Before awakening, you could tolerate misalignment for money. After awakening, that trade feels like selling your soul, because it is. Authenticity over performance. Your soul wants you to show up as your actual self, not a professional persona. This means finding or creating work where you don't have to code switch, where your spirituality and your work life aren't compartmentalized, where you can be integrated. Meaning over status. Your soul wants work that feels meaningful to you, not work that looks impressive to others. The career markers that used to motivate you, titles, promotions, recognition, feel hollow now because your soul knows they're social agreements, not ultimate truths. Service over success. Your soul wants contribution more than achievement. The distinction matters. Achievement is about you, your advancement, your wins, your metrics. Contribution is about impact, what you give, what you create, how you serve. Before awakening, success motivated you. After awakening, service motivates you. Sovereignty over security. Your soul wants you to trust your own guidance more than external security structures. The golden handcuffs, the good salary, the benefits, the 401k, the stability used to feel like wisdom. Now they feel like prison bars. Your soul is asking you to value self-determination more than institutional security. That's terrifying because you were raised to believe security comes from institutions. But your soul knows real security comes from trusting yourself. Here's the challenge. These aren't binary choices. You don't have to choose between money and meaning, between security and sovereignty. But you do have to reorder the priorities. Before awakening, security first, then meaning if possible. After awakening, meaning first, then security, in ways that don't compromise meaning. That shift terrifies your ego and excites your soul. The career crisis is the battleground where this conflict plays out. Let me be honest about something most spiritual teachers won't tell you. Following your soul's calling doesn't guarantee immediate financial success or even clarity about what to do. You might leave your job and spend months in the void, not knowing what comes next. You might try several things that don't work. You might make less money for a while. You might confuse and disappoint people who expect you to stay on the path you were on. The high-frequency career crisis doesn't come with a replacement job offer from the universe. It comes with an ending and an invitation to trust what emerges. Here's what that actually looks like. Phase 1, the realization. Where you are now, you recognize the frequency mismatch. You can't unfeel it. The job that used to be tolerable becomes intolerable. You're reading this video because you're trying to understand what's happening to you. Phase 2, the resistance. You try to make it work. You tell yourself to be grateful. You try to focus on the positive aspects. You remind yourself of practical realities. You attempt to push through. This phase can last months or years. It's you trying to convince your soul that your ego's concerns are valid reasons to stay misaligned. Phase 3, the breaking point. Eventually, the dissonance becomes unbearable. Either you choose to leave, or your body-mind forces the issue through illness, breakdown, or getting fired. Something has to give, because the split cannot continue. Phase 4, the void. You're between identities. You're not who you were, but you haven't become who you're meant to be yet. You have no clear answer for, so what do you do? This is the most uncomfortable phase because Western culture doesn't honor transition. We want to jump from one identity to another without the gap. But the void is necessary. It's where your old identity dissolves fully so your new one can emerge. Trying to skip this phase by immediately finding replacement work usually means you recreate the same pattern in a different setting. Phase 5, the emergence. Something starts calling to you. Not a logical choice, but a gravitational pull. You might resist it at first because it doesn't make sense or it's not what you pictured, but it keeps appearing. Opportunities align. Synchronicities happen. You don't choose your new path as much as you recognize it. Phase 6. The building. You begin creating your new work, whatever form that takes. It might not look like you thought it would. It might not pay immediately. But it feels different. You're not depleted at the end of the day. You're engaged. You care. The work challenges you but doesn't drain you because it's aligned with your frequency. If you're in the void right now, if you've left your career but don't know what's next, comment "void" below. The void is sacred space. It's not failure. It's transformation in progress. You're not behind. You're exactly where your soul needs you to be. Here's how to honor your soul's call without creating unnecessary chaos. Step 1. Acknowledge the frequency mismatch. Stop trying to convince yourself you're wrong for feeling what you feel. The dissonance is real. Your consciousness has expanded beyond your current work. That's not a problem to fix. It's a reality to honor. Step 2. Separate immediate action from ultimate truth. Your soul's truth is that your current work is misaligned. But that doesn't mean you have to quit tomorrow. You can hold two truths. This work no longer serves me, and I'm making a strategic plan to transition. Honoring your soul doesn't require reckless action. It requires honest acknowledgement. Step 3. Build a financial runway if possible. If you can, save money to give yourself space between leaving and needing replacement income immediately. Even 3 months of expenses creates breathing room. The void is much easier to navigate when you're not in financial panic. Step 4. Start exploring what calls to you. Don't wait until you quit to begin discovering what's next. Use your evenings, weekends, time off to explore. Try things. Notice what energizes you versus what depletes you. Your new path often reveals itself through experimentation, not through thinking. Step 5. Communicate honestly with people who depend on you. If you have a partner, family, financial dependents, have real conversations about what you're experiencing. Don't try to have everything figured out before talking. Let them into the process. Their support or resistance will inform your timing. Step 6. Give yourself permission for the void. Western culture wants you to go from one career to another without pause. But transformation requires dissolution first. Give yourself permission to not know, to explore, to try things that don't work, to spend time in transition. The void is where your soul rebuilds you. Don't rush through it. Step 7. Trust the emergence. Your new path will reveal itself when you're ready. Not when your ego wants clarity, but when your soul has prepared you. The preparation might include shadow work, healing, perspective shifts, skill development, or simply learning to trust yourself. You don't have to force the next thing. You have to make space for it to emerge. If you're experiencing a high-frequency career crisis, you're not ungrateful, lazy, or having a breakdown. Your consciousness expanded and your current work didn't expand with it. The mismatch creates suffering until you address it. This isn't about finding the perfect job. It's about building a new relationship with work, where alignment matters more than status, where meaning matters more than optimization, where your soul's frequency determines your career decisions. The career you built served who you were. Now you need work that serves who you're becoming. That might mean leaving your current job. It might mean transforming how you relate to it. It might mean creating something entirely new. but it definitely means you can't continue the performance while your soul is demanding authenticity. In the comments, share where you are in this process. Are you in the realization phase, the resistance, the void, the emergence? Your honesty might help someone else realize they're not alone in this transition. If this video helped you understand your career crisis as spiritual initiation rather than personal failure, subscribe for more content on navigating high-frequency awakening. My next video explores why you can't stand your old friends anymore and why that's growth, not betrayal. Your career crisis is your soul's invitation. The question is whether you'll answer.